Alrighty, folks, we're just getting started here with the event. We have multiple cells popping up in central and southern Missouri that are going to start moving into our area. Uh, really, right now, actually, we have some cells already moving into the Gasconade County area. Some are weakening, but some are going stronger. We actually have a severe thunderstorm warning for a cell down kind of close to Springfield. Um, give you a look at that. There we go. Cells that are really popping up. Um, Not too sure how long they'll maintain themselves, but National Weather Service office in Springfield has just issued a severe thunderstorm warning along Interstate 44 moving northeastward. Bring it back to the St. Louis radar. Also note, Columbia, severe thunderstorm warning. Multiple cells are crossing over the same area, one after another. Continuous heavy rainfall and hail, maybe some damaging winds in there. Let's see what the risk is for. Risk so far appears to be for golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Multiple of these cells moving through at the same time. I'll give you a little bit of a broader look. We have this area, showers and thunderstorms moving off to the east out of our region of concern. This new area of development here, where storms are firing right now and strengthening, that's what we're going to be watching for the next few hours, I'd say. Just watching them develop along the Kansas-Missouri line and just progressing northeastward as the front moves through. Take you down to Arkansas real quick, where we've had multiple uh, tornado warnings in the past few hours. In fact, here we go. Two very strong storms, and ooh, look at that. Right off to the northwest, or northeast, sorry, of Little Rock, we have pretty strong supercell right there. I'm just going to note this very, very strong hook echo we have right here. I have a very good inflow notch coming straight in, and that's what's going to be fueling the cell. Let's get a look at our velocity for this. Very strong couplet. You can see this lighter blue region here versus these spotty reds. Pretty good rotation couplet there. See if anything's been confirmed on the ground. This is just for a radar indicated rotation at the time. Yeah. Just in case, let's look and see if there's any debris being held aloft. It does not look like it. Take it to a dual display. So this is the area we're watching. Maybe. Hold on. Get a better look right now. No, it does not look like there is really any debris. It's possible, but I do not think that we're seeing the same frame for this. So I think right now it's just going to remain radar indicated. So really our concern for pretty much the entire Midwest is looking to be this entire area for the time being. This just swath where all hazards of severe are possible, including large, violent tornadoes, specifically targeting this area down here and this area up here, as well as damaging wind gusts focusing over here, and then large hail area wide. And some of these tornadoes, again, could be long tracking, in some cases potentially violent in the northern and southern circles here and here. And then we're also looking for just pretty much area-wide damaging hail and then stronger winds off to the east. Some of that hail could be baseball size or larger, by the way. Take a look at some more local supercells developing in the St. Louis area right off the bat. We'll focus on the Columbia storms and those that moved just past Columbia. Let's see if we have any rotation signatures. All right, so right off the bat, seeing this area down here, maybe possible very weak couplet area to watch for sure. Looking further north, actually further north towards Hannibal. Hannibal. All right, so Hannibal has a situation developing right now. We have what looks here to be a pretty strong couplet right here, and I'll pull this alongside reflectivity. Yes, there is a hook echo beginning to develop on the storm. We have what could go tornadic pretty much any minute now, given pretty good couplet on the storm and the hook echo that is wrapping around. You really see a very prominent inflow notch here, feeding that warm, moist air into the storm. You can really see the classic V-shaped supercell with this. And again, just emphasizing that couplet area of heavy hail here as well. This is going to be right over the town of Rensselaer. I hope I'm saying that right. How large hail we looking at? 2.5-inch hail. 2.5-inch hail is what's being radar indicated with this storm. This is ping pong ball, golf ball size hail. So, and look, we just got another frame. It looks like that hook echo is deepening, really very prominent inflow notch right there. And it looks like we may have a little bit of a rear flank downdraft on this backside here. Just here, I'll give you a clear image. This area right here, rear flank downdraft RFD, like column. Doesn't look like it's very strong, but maybe an area of lighter precipitation possible in that area. Hannibal, this is about 15 minutes or so outside of your front door. If anybody's watching this from Hannibal, which I'd be amazed at this point, but if anybody's watching, you need to take this storm pretty seriously. This is a developing storm that may go tornadic in the next 10 or 15 minutes. So you really need to start heading towards shelter if you are in Hannibal or Rensselaer. Hope I'm saying that right again. We just got another severe thunderstorm warning, this time for Mexico. Mexico, you have just had a severe thunderstorm warning issued for your area. We have, again, classic V-shaped supercell, and what may actually be the start of an inflow notch right there, just a little itty bitty thing. There doesn't appear, let's see, maybe just if there is at all, just an extremely, extremely light couplet. But I think for this one, we're looking at damaging winds and hail as the primary threat, with the Tor possible tag on it. Okay. Ping pong ball size, hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then the storm, Columbia, you have another storm that's coming towards you, but for right now, it looks like the worst of this one cell you're in has passed by the majority of Columbia. So you're not quite in the clear yet. You still have one more cell coming in, and then maybe a few spotty ones after that. Let's look towards Jeff City off to your south, and actually west. You have a lighter cell here, just general thunderstorms, I'm thinking. And then off to your south, pretty good area of heavy rainfall right here that is beginning to develop. Let's see how this comes through in the past several hours. A little slower moving, but also still popping up. I think this will be in Gasconade. Let's see, it's about 35 miles outside of Gasconade, 40 outside of Herman. Probably looking at a half hour to 45 minutes outside of those areas. So depending on how this cell begins to mature, we may see development. And look, we just got hail signature for it. This is mothball sized hail, so ½ inch in diameter. Just starting to cause a little bit of trouble. Bowling Green just got a severe thunderstorm warning as well, including Middleton, Bowling Green, Terrence, Curryville. Curryville is just in the midst of two storms. We actually have a stronger cell here, also starting to pick up pace. Do and really watching. See, look, we're starting to have a better rotation signature on this cell. Is heading into Hannibal in the next 10 minutes. If you're on Hannibal and you're watching this, this is a storm that is moving into your area. It does have a hook echo on it. There is a rotation signature. It doesn't look like there's a tornado on the ground yet, but I think in the next 10-15 minutes that may possibly change. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully we do not see any tornadoes moving into heavily populated areas today. But if it does develop one, you all should start heading for shelter. Just look around the area again. Multiple tornado warnings down into Texas and Arkansas. Let's see what they're seeing down there. Multiple supercells, indeed. These aren't affecting us, but it's kind of interesting to just see what's happening elsewhere in this event. This is such a massive event and it's covering such a large area. Uh, it's worth looking around just every once in a while. Okay. We're really starting to watch the cell in case it starts developing some hail, larger hail within it. It does look like it is gathering strength. Not near as strong as what's now northeast of Columbia and heading into Hannibal, or just Middletown. You are getting hit right now. A good storm, but watching this sail as it moves toward, uh, actually, it looks like it may slip off just barely to the south of Herman. It's going to possibly slip between Herman and New Haven based on this latest track. Still calling for mothball-sized hail, though. Couple cells starting to form. St. Roberts, Fort Leonard Wood, just off of east of Lebanon, and then another one down by Sherrill. Again, we're really just watching for these pop-up storms starting off the afternoon. I don't think this event's going to end really anytime soon, but we do need to watch for these storms that do become severe. And again, just want to point out, I think the majority of our severe storms will probably be off, will be off to the north, uh, towards the Illinois, Iowa, Missouri border, and then off towards the south, towards Memphis and this general area here. Those are going to be your emphasis points for severe storms today, but just want to walk everybody in the area through just to make sure we're keeping tabs on everything. Give you a look at Springfield radar right now. A couple of stronger storms developing. This is going to be down near Lebanon, St. Roberts, these cells here. See if we've got any sort of rotation on them. No rotation, but it does look like they've got some winds coming in from the downdraft. Stronger cells. These are going to be developing. These will be moving through Rolla probably in the next 30 to 45 minutes, and then maybe Steelville in the next hour or so, depending on which direction the Cheryl storm moves. But right now, St. Roberts, you're about to get hit by a pretty good downpour. Wouldn't say necessarily any large hail quite yet, though. Yeah, mothball size hail. Nothing too big yet. Starting to get a little bit of heavier rain in the St. Thomas storm, hitting DBZ 60 DBZ. So this is starting to develop smaller hail, probably going to move up towards 3/4 of an inch here in a second for the hail size. We'll see if the storm holds together. And actually, let's check the movement on it. It looks like its track is shifting just a little bit. Yeah, this thing's bobbing and weaving just enough to where I'd say cone of uncertainty there. Probable path, I would say. This this general area now it has general northeasterly movement, but it's bobbing and weaving so much it's kind of hard to track consistently. Aha, Hannibal. Hannibal has just had a tornado warning issued on top of it. You are 3 minutes outside being hit by this tornadic storm. Baseball-sized hail. Oh my goodness. Baseball-sized hail on the storm. Radar indicated rotation, but spotters have reported baseball-sized hail falling. Oh, good lord. This is a big storm already, folks. Let's look at that velocity for this. Again, very good rotation couplet, strong couplet. Um, let's see, we're getting 40 and 35. All right, so this is definitely a pretty strong couplet. 40 inbound, 35 outbound. Look at correlation coefficient. Do we see a debris ball? Do we see a debris ball? No, not there. I don't think there's any debris being picked up by this quite yet. Right now, it does look like there is a large area of heavier hail within this, though. These lighter area colors here, those are signifying larger hail that is falling from the cell. This is something we're going to have to watch very closely as it moves into Illinois, which is about to cross the border right now. In fact, the couplet is located probably over Hannibal by the time we're looking at this. This is a full-fledged supercell. And we're looking down towards Millicent, actually. Bowling Green, you have a very strong storm heading towards you. I'd say we're looking close to 2-inch hail. This has golf ball size hail on it. I'd say probably closer to 2-inch hail based on what I'm seeing. But And these are also going to be very fast moving storms too. So whenever we start pointing these out, this is going to be something we really have to watch for is how fast they're going to be moving through the area throughout this evening. All right, let's go ahead and check rotation. Looks like there is a couplet developing actually up here. Okay, so this is going to be an area to watch. Let's check and see what this is. Off the backside, okay. Backside of the cell. Maybe an area of just light rotation on the backside, but I don't think it's going to amount to anything. Main focus for the cell is going to be those damaging winds and that large hail. Look, Columbia, you are in the clear right now. You do have another cell coming for you. It is right outside Syracuse, Tipton, uh, what is it, Boonston, Prairie Home. You're in the path. You're probably less than 5 minutes out. Columbia, I'd say you're closer to 15, 20, maybe 25 minutes at the latest. Let's look around Columbia because it looks like we have several reports of hail, pea-sized, half-inch hail, quarter-sized hail outside Columbia, as well as it looks like small twigs broken, lawn furniture, and trash cans moved. This is being reported on MPing, if you're wondering. Pea-sized hail. Medium-sized hail. Okay, so it looks like there was some large hail falling within this. And let's look at Mexico right now. Quarter-sized hail reported in Mexico. Dime-sized. We're definitely looking at hail falling within this cell right now. Just for those of you who are joining, we are currently covering the severe weather that is occurring all across the Midwest and into the South going through this evening. Right now, we have many storms that are tornadic in Arkansas, Iowa, and then we have a cell that we're watching very closely. It's moving through Hannibal right now. It does have a tornado warning on it. And last time I checked, it doesn't have a degree signature on it yet, but there is large hail falling within the storm, and at times could be baseball-sized hail. Golf ball reported there, quarter-inch there. Large hail and tornado is the threat for the storm. But looking elsewhere, Bowling Green, you are probably close to 5 minutes out from getting the worst of this storm. Looks like we're going to be seeing probably, I'd say, uh, golf ball-sized hail from this, if I'd have to guess right. We've got another cell developing up here, left motion splitter here. Vandalia, this is hitting you right now. It's actually leaving you at the moment. All right, so we do have two cells right here. V shape here, V shape here. These may be developing supercells. Let's determine that. Weak signature, weak signature. Yes, these are developing supercells. These are developing rotation signatures, and I'll show you that side by side right now. We have this area right here heading into Rush Hill right now. This is going to be an area of heavy winds and hail, as well as this area down here. This is going to be outside. This is heading towards Benton City right now. Westphalia, you were getting that cell we were talking about just a second ago. And Jeff City, it looks like you have an area of just a little bit of heavier rainfall exiting your area right now. Westphal looks like still mothball-sized hail is what we're looking at for you. Look around St. Roberts, you're currently getting hit by some stronger rainfall, scattered lightning bolts. It says we got a rotation signature on this. There's so much noise on radar, it's kind of hard to make out, but maybe a loose couplet. I kind of want to wait for this to get a little closer to our radar and St. Louis just to see a little bit. It's really hard to tell, but maybe an inflow notch here. This may be one of those discrete supercells that we'll have to watch as we go through this. Eldon. Tosombia, looks like you have a pretty strong cell heading towards St. Thomas. Potential hailer here. Doesn't look like there's any inflow or anything to it. So I don't think we have to worry about that for supercell threats. Let's run through storm motion real quick. It looks like we're probably going to be continuing this general northeastward trend with a few exceptions. We'll see how the St. Roberts cell develops. If it continues to move northeast like this, and we do continue to see a strengthening, we're going to have to watch for it down the road. We're probably going to be looking Union, Washington, New Haven, Herman, St. Clair, Sullivan, general cone of arc here for if it decides to move around just a little bit going into our area. So keep that in mind. Cheryl Storm is moving out of Cheryl. Steelville is in the next path for it. This is going to be moving parallel to I-44 just south of Cuba, Bourbon, and Sullivan, probably. If it maintains itself long enough, in 2 hours, it may be in Cedar Hill, Eureka Pacific, High Ridge. So really just what I'm seeing right now is scattered thunderstorms starting to become severe, and especially up off to the north. Quite a mess. Columbia looks like that cell is starting to weaken, so I'd say your hail threat is pretty minimal from this cell at this point. Just a little bit of heavier rain. And it looks like these cells, Benson City, Rush Hill, Ladonia, Farber, Vandalia. Um, Looks like we are starting to develop a little more rotation signature on both of them, actually. Just a little bit of a hook echo starting to develop. So let's see what we're looking at. Yes, definitely two weak radar couplets here and here, targeting Rush Hill and Benton City right now. Ladonia, Fairber, and Vandalia are next in path for this particular line of cells. Set up to Hannibal, very, very strong radar couplet. Looking up there, and it does not look like we have a debris ball on this. So it's very good that it remained just rotation signature on radar and not an actual tornado on the ground. It's a very good thing. Hannibal got lucky from this. That's very, very, very good. Let's look. We have very large hail based on the correlation coefficient falling in this area here. This is going to be just to the west of Bowling Green and Terrence. Curryville just barely missed it as well. Probably looking, well, let's see what the National Weather Service has to say. Golf ball size hail. All right. Seems to be the average hail size for radar indicated with this event. Westphalia, Lynn, you are all looking at a pretty good downpour from this cell as it moves northeastward towards Gasconade, Herman, Berger. Kittrick is holding that northeastward trend. Doesn't look like it's strengthening too much. I would start watching this St. Thomas cell that's moving at St. Thomas probably in the next 3 to 5 minutes. Uh, if if it strengthens and it grows, you can already see the V shape here starting to pull together. You just got a hail signature on it, mothball size hail. And just another emphasis on this, folks. This is a very fast moving system. We're seeing storm movements in excess of 50 miles per hour with this. So one thing we're really watching going through um, in the evening hours tonight is these fast moving storms that could become strong to severe. But I think most of our severe will be off to the south in Arkansas, Tennessee, southeastern Missouri, maybe a little bit of um, northern Mississippi, and then also Iowa, Illinois, northeast Missouri as well. Look at that hook I go on the Hannibal. So it looks like it's exiting off to the east of Hannibal, leaving in its wake a bunch of hail. We're looking at Hull right now getting hit by uh, hook echo. It looks like it may be starting to cut off its inflow. If you look here at this area, what was just a plain inflow is no longer that. Instead, we have this area of rain starting to fall. So I wonder if that's going to cut off the inflow to the storm and kind of kill it off a little bit. No tornado was ever reported with this. All right. Individual cells down here. Really watching the Benton City and Lithonia. So let's see. Ping pong ball size hail is just reported outside of Ladonia. Very strong cell here. And it looks like we also have cell down near Middleton, Bowling Green, and you just barely missed the most of the hail from this. Frankfurt, you are looking at an area of heavier rain moving in right now. Maybe some hail in there as well. Check on the rotation signatures. It appears that the Benton City cell and the Ladonia cell are indeed increasing in strength, starting to tighten up, especially on the Benton City cell. Looks like we may have to issue a tornado warning for that here in just a few minutes. Uh, you can definitely see that there is an inflow notch into the storm, and there is a little bit of a curve starting to develop there. So hook echo is definitely starting to become apparent, and rotation is starting to become a thing with this cell. So really got to watch this one, as it moves off to the northeast, I'd say it's going to slip. The tornadic part of the storm would slip if it were to become tornadic south of Vandalia. Curryville, I would have to watch for. Maybe Bowling Green as well, depending on if its track shifts just a little bit either way. So Curryville, definitely want to watch. All right, so Hannibal, you are out of the threat right now. Take a look up north towards Iowa, see what's happening around there. Looks like we have lines of strong and severe thunderstorms with embedded supercells. Looky here, just to show you an example. Some strong rotation couplets. One here, one here. Like this entire area is just massive, massive rotation signatures. I'm not sure if we have anything confirmed on the ground. It does not look like it for there, and it does not look like it for there. Check out this Kyoto cell real quick. There is a confirmed 20 on the ground for Kyoto. Just moved out of Kyoto, actually. All right. There's definitely, okay, there is a very prominent debris ball from the storm that has just exited Kyoto. Um, we send our prayers to the folks down around there who were just hit by this. Very strong rotation signature there. This is really what we have to look for going through the day and night, or well, evening for us really is these supercells that are dropping these tornadoes wherever they go. Let's have a look down here. Pretty strong rotation signature on the cell. It's going to be North Hunter, Arkansas, real quick. Radar indicated as well. And then Little Rock may have a few more cells off to the southwest. Which, if you didn't know, North Little Rock just had a large damaging tornado move through a few hours ago, targeting areas like Sherwood and Kamak Village. Barely missed the radar side, actually. Moved through, and then 30, 45 minutes later, we had another cell move through. I'm not sure if that one had a confirmed touchdown on it. So prayers go down to Little Rock and then up to Kyoto, Iowa. There appears to be a little more organization on the St. Roberts cell. You can see groupings of these cells starting to come together. The general northeasterly movement with all of those, as well as the Cheryl and Salem storm also moving off to the northeast. This gives you a little bit of an image of where the front is located at the time, and you can kind of make it out just a little bit here, really. It's all pushing this stuff off to the northeast, and what we're really looking for in this event is those few storms down around here that may just become severe or may develop a tornado risk. I think once these cells move through the area, though, we should lose our severe risk for the evening. Lynn, looks like you have a little bit of rotation signature on you still. Have a look see. All right, so it does look like there is a weak couplet on the cell above Lynn. That is heading towards Gasconade and Herman right now. And McKittick off to the north. It's very weak, and you can just kind of see it here. It's a very weak couplet. Let's look and see what we're looking at. It's not a very strong storm at all. There's barely an inflow notch here. Not an immediate concern, but if it keeps developing like this down the line, I'd say we'll have to keep an eye on it. Looks like a Hannibal still is actually maintaining itself. I don't think, yeah, we haven't had anything reported on that still. So, Faber, Vandalia. It looks like your inflow is getting blocked a lot by more showers and thunderstorms. That's going to kind of cut off energy fueling that storm just a little bit. So I think Vandalia, Faber, Curryville, you may be all right depending on how this decides to react. Yeah, it definitely looks like uh, the cell Martinsburg. It looks like it has just barely weakened a little bit, so that's good. But Harbor and Vandalia looks like still pretty tight supercell there. So we're going to watch that pretty closely as we're going through, as it makes its way towards Bowling Green, Frankfurt, and then over into Illinois. Let's have a look around a little bit. Still can't really tell on the St. Robert's cell. Looks like elsewhere we're looking pretty good for the time being, aside from over in Illinois. All right. We'll have to watch for cells continuing to pop up. I'd say off to our southwest, targeting targeting this area here, where there may still be enough energy because the front hasn't quite slid through yet. May still be enough energy for stuff to continue popping up as it moves northeast. So just watch for that a little bit. Looks like pretty heavy rain heading out of Lynn right now. Gasconade, Herman, Kiddick, and just barely missing Chemoy, however you want to pronounce that. um, Madonia, Farber, Vandalia. Just looks like you're getting heavy winds and heavy hail at this point. I think the tornado risk has pretty much diminished on that southern cell. Really checking Vandalia real quick. Still looks like there is a potential on there. A weak couplet, but still nonetheless there. Looking, yeah, right there. You can see a little bit of a, almost a little bit of a hook echo there, but not very aggressive. I don't think we're going to see anything develop from that. So no severe storms moving into our area at this time. Um, just make sure that we're paying attention to these, though, in case they do decide to rapidly strengthen. There's definitely enough instability and energy in the atmosphere to support some development of these storms. However, it's all dependent on if they're willing to go as far as to start producing these severe conditions. So hopefully that doesn't happen, though. Osage Beach, Lynn Creek. Looks like you have, okay, fast moving cell. Doesn't look like it has any sort of structure to it, though, so I disregard that one. Chicago's going to have some storms here in a little bit. Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids actually has a cell that's moving somewhat towards it. Check that one out real quick. These supercells ahead of the main line of storms, you can see them. Just embedded supercell in this line of storms. So head back to our area. Check out this cell south of Fulton. It looks like it may have a little bit interesting on the back end of it. Nope, just looks like looking at a little bit of heavy winds from inside of it, but not too bad for the time being. All right, I'm gonna go get a drink of water. I'll be back probably 5 minutes. Let things kind of do as they will for the next few minutes. So I'll be right back, folks. All right. First glance, doesn't look like much has changed. It looks like the Herman gasconade cell is starting to weaken, actually. Um, yeah, look, there's just a little bit of a hail signature right there. Ooh, okay. Looking at two very, very small, like measly couplets right there, where maybe just a little bit of localized low-level rotation. Um, let's see, just off that southwest side. I don't think that's going to amount to anything, but I wouldn't isolate just like if you're looking up in the clouds and you're gasconade, maybe just some a little bit of swirling clouds. Not too surprising, but something definitely to watch. Martinsburg, what have you got going on here? You have nothing going on. All right. Caught my attention with the swirl shape. Ooh, that was a little off. The swirl shape right here. It looks like there's nothing to it. Nothing to it whatsoever. Look at these cells over here, man. Some of those are looking pretty strong, actually. This entire segment here, it looks like we'll be moving through New Florence, or just off to the west of New Florence, probably in the next less than 15 minutes on this tail end over here. Doesn't doesn't look like there'd be any rotation signature on it. Um, if anything, just like very weak low level rotation associated with it. Zoom back out. St. Roberts looks like it's actually slowing down a lot. It has not moved. I wonder if it's just been back building, which that's what it appears it's been doing. Like the storm motion hasn't increased or decreased, but it has just started back building. Doesn't look like we have anything developing on the backside of this. Hmm. I'm beginning to wonder if we'll actually see anything develop from this event based on the lack of development off to our southwest. It looks like it'll all be pointed down to the south and up to the north for certain. Obviously, off to the north, you can see a massive amount of warnings being issued. Looks like our what was Hannibal is now Beverly cell, reduced to a triangle for the warning. Still has somewhat of a rotation signature on it on the reflectivity. Let's look over to velocity. Yeah, it looks like a couple tweaking. And of course, we may be getting a little bit of ways out from the radar, so we'll see. Um, Bowling Green looks like a pretty decent downdraft here off your east. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, it looks like you just have a forward point gust front coming from this cell here, just bulging out that way. Watching these areas here for some small hail right now, maybe developing into a little larger as we go over the next hour or so, half hour to an hour. And it looks like our Gasconade Herman storm is reducing itself in size and strength. Looks like it has decided it wants to die on us. So that's good. It means we won't have any severe weather from that cell. Herman, McKittrick, Gasconade were spared a little bit. Had that strengthened, it probably would have been a large health threat, but it appears to not be the case. Union right now, Washington, Villa Ridge, New Haven, Gerald, St. Clair, you're all in the clear at the moment. We have pretty much no storms in the Franklin County area right now, aside from Herman or Gasconade. Those appear to be, again, weakening storms moving out. I'd say our next complex of storms we'd have to watch for is this, now moving into Rolla. This is the Newburgh-Rolla cell and the complex of storms associated with it. This is going to start moving into the area. It's going to start off with lighter rain on this frontal side. It's just going to move in general northeasterly motion. Watching out for a few isolated spots where we could see some heavier rain and maybe even some small hail. Watching this backside really, and then over here. There's first heavier rain with lighter rain and maybe just a little bit of small hail embedded. Let's look at this Rolla cell real quick. I want to break this down as it starts moving into our area. It does appear there is a little bit of a rotation signature on it. We couple it right here. It's stuff like this we're going to have to start watching for. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of structure on the cell, so that may limit the amount of growth that the cell has and the strength of it, but it is something we're going to have to watch regardless as it moves into our area. Look real quick and make sure there aren't any other signatures. It's possible with this cell down here, very weak couplet. I'm not really seeing anywhere else. Let's look off to the north real quick. Maybe a very weak one over here, heading off to the west of New Florence. It looks like our cells that were Curryville, Vandalia, Fairburn, looks like they've weakened. I don't see any threat from them right now. Maybe a weaker couplet heading toward Ashburn, but not too confident that we'll see anything really develop from them. It looks like they continued the tornado warning from that once was Hannibal cell heading deeper into Illinois. All right. Pretty strong cell, actually, heading off to the west of New Florence, Montgomery City. You were in the path of this. I wouldn't be surprised if they issued a severe thunderstorm warning for what looks to be what could be hail in there, actually. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like we're looking at large hail in this cell. Look at the signature. 2-inch hail. Yes, I'd say they're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for this any minute now. Definitely some hail embedded in there. So Montgomery City, if anybody's in Montgomery City watching this, you're probably going to see some large hail moving into your area in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm looking through storm reports right now. Seems like most of what's being reported is hail in excess of an inch in size. Lots of golf ball size hail being reported. Hannibal had 2-inch hail reported. That was as of 4:09 p.m. Again, I don't know if we'll see any severe storms develop for the Franklin County area. It's still a possibility. Actually, starting to watch this Bell and Bland cell off to the north of there. That may develop into a hail risk for New Haven based on its current movement, if it continues to strengthen. But as I was saying, I don't know if we'll see any severe storms. I'd say our two focal points right now are going to be the cell here, this cell down here. And if these few cells down here continue to develop, watch for those as well. But based on what I'm seeing, most of it appears to be off to our north and south, with the north being the more active at the time being. Let's just check down Springfield real quick, see if anything is developing at all. It does not look like it. A few cells down there, nothing much to it. So also right now, aside from these thunderstorms, we're also looking at some heavier wind gusts moving through the area. I'd say 35, 40 miles per hour. This is going to probably continue going into the morning hours tomorrow, maybe into midday, where we could see a maximum of 50 mile per hour wind gusts, especially off to our north and west. Alrighty, yep, and we have severe thunderstorm warning issued for that Raleigh cell. What are the issues with it? 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail, radar indicated. Alright, so if you're down close to Raleigh, first active event, we're going to be looking at St. James. We're looking probably 5 minutes out from this, 5 to 10 minutes. Look at movement on the cell real quick. Probably 5 to 10 minutes outside St. James. It's going to be moving north. I'd say it may pass just a little bit north of Cuba if it holds together that long. Heading towards St. Clair is probably its focal point. Let's look real quick and see if there's any rotation on it. Yes, there is definitely a rotation signature on the cell. This may go tornado warned here in a little bit if there is actual structure that will continue the storm's growth and development, which actually, hold on, we do begin to see an inflow notch here. We do have what appears to be a hook echo developing on this cell. This may need to go tornado warned for St. James, Cuba, Leesburg, and Bourbon here in the next 10-15 minutes if this continues to develop as such. Let's look and see if the National Weather Service put on a tour possible. They do not have a tour possible on this yet. This is something that's going to need to be monitored as it moves off to the northeast towards our area. Let's also take a look at what's north of Bland, Bell, and also northwest of Owensville. We do have that cell. Looks like it's starting to produce some small hail within it. Yes, there's definitely hail that could be in excess of an inch in diameter. They may need to severe warn this cell as well as it moves off the northeast. Looks like it's going to head towards New Haven and Berkshire. So anybody in those areas, you might start watching for this moves into the next probably 20 to 30 minutes. Got a new frame. Montgomery City. Wow, you're getting hit pretty hard by some hail in there. 2 inches in diameter based on radar. And it looks like storms off to our north have developed into more of a line segment. We'll see how that develops. Still have a few cells off to the west that could still become severe over the next hour, hour and a half. But now we're really going to start focusing on this Raleigh St. James storms because that's going to be the focal point of some of our risk for our area, especially targeting Sullivan and St. Clair. Union, if it turns to a more northeasterly and northern turn, you may have to start watching about it. But Washington, I think you're in the clear from this. Man, that is actually. Now, this could be distorted because the image is so far out from the radar, but it does look there is pretty good shape on this storm and a strong rotation signature as well. For those of you who are just joining, sorry, we're having developing tornadic situation possible. This is going to be heading into St. James any minute now. It does not look like there is a significant threat for it yet, but there is definitely a strong rotation signature on radar. It does look like there is hail within the storm as well, based on the correlation coefficient. This could be a developing supercell as it moves off to the northeast. Track its movement real quick. Yes, this is definitely a developing storm. It looks like our cell off to the northwest of Owensville may be starting to just barely weaken a little bit. Actually, it looks like it's holding strength just a bit. All right, so we've got another cell developing down near Sullivan. Looks like it could have some small hail on the cell, mothball sized. It looks like this is going to be, oh, tornado warning. Tornado warning has been issued for St. James for a strong rotation signature. This is radar indicating, I'm guessing. Yes, rotation and ping pong ball sized tail. We do have a tornado warning that has been issued for St. James. If you're down there, and I'd even start looking off towards Cuba, they may tag on and extend this warning if the signature continues. It looks like it might. It's not a very well organized supercell, though. It's not a massive structure like what we'd see up here. This is a smaller, more discrete one on the backside of these rain showers. If you're getting rained on right now in Sullivan or Bourbon, this is the threat has not passed. Those cells, while they may be dropping small hail, that is not the tornado threat. The tornado threat is a separate cell that's going to be on the backside of this system. So we're really going to have to watch for that going into the next probably hour or so as it makes its way through uh, southern and eastern Franklin County. And I'd really start watching for St. Clair in probably the next hour or so, if it holds together, which is a big question. Will it actually maintain itself? A little bit of a curve on the backside of this cell over here. This is going to be Freeburg Bell Bland once again. Maybe a small area of rotation. It doesn't look very strong though. Just a little bit of anticyclonic rotation. So just the shaping of the storm. Main focal is on the St. James cell. St. James, you have that moving through your area right now. Probably going to be out of view in the next few minutes. Does not look like there is any sort of well-defined area of debris within her. I'd say it's just rotation indicated on radar for the time being. Union and St. Clair, you're about to get a little bit of rain, maybe some small hail embedded in some of these heavier pockets, maybe a few gusty winds in there. Not calling it severe just yet. It definitely looks like there is some hail embedded within the cell, though. Bigger drop, definitely. The cell up here heading towards Berger, New Haven, Herman. This is starting to catch my eye as a decent hailer based on what I'm seeing. Quarter-sized hail is being radar indicated for the cell. And we'll see exactly how it develops. You're probably looking 10 to 15 minutes outside of Herman, as well as 15 minutes outside of New Haven and Berger. And also notice this discrete cell that just popped up on the northern side, that's probably what's going to impact the southeastern portion of Herman, if I had to guess right. Look outward. Um, 20 warning. Just checking in on this Illinois cell. Large hail and still rotation indicated on radar. Okay, so it looks like we have a little bit of an interesting shape with this cell now. St. Clair and Union. This is what's going to be impacting you in the next 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes for Union. Let's check and see what we have for rotation. It doesn't look like we have any strong signatures. Anything, I'd say maybe here. It looks like it's just outflow from the storm, though, so I'm not too concerned about that. This cell, however, concerns me. And then also looking down towards Steelville, actually, this cell looks like it may contain some. Looks like it may contain a little bit of extra oomph to it now. May develop a little bit of a rotation signature, actually, because look, you can see there was a rotation signature. You can see a little bit of an inflow there, and it looks like it may just barely start to curve off to the south, suggesting that. And it looks like even further south of that, we have more cells lining up. Houston, Raymondville, Summersville. Looks like got a pretty good cell down there. That's going to be moving off to the northeast over the next few hours. Herman, New Haven cell looks like it's maintaining itself pretty well with some heavy rain and some small hail embedded within. Maybe not quite at severe level yet. Definitely an area to watch. You're about 3 or 4 minutes outside of heavy rain Herman. New Haven, you're starting to get some light rain right now. Tornado warning has been tagged on and extended into Franklin County. Right now, Sullivan, St. Cloud, West Sullivan, Bourbon, Leesburg, and Cuba, you are all in this risk. St. James, you are in the clear at this time. Repeat, there is a tornado warning that has been issued for the southwestern portion of Franklin County, moving parallel to Interstate 44. This is going to be moving off to the northeast. Washington, you are probably in the clear for this. We're going to be targeting areas like Union, St. Clair, Villa Ridge, Gray Summit, and Pacific, where we may have to start watching for this if it continues to develop. We're also going to start watching this cell here because it appears that it is starting to gain a little bit of strength. It's not having that signature quite yet that we're looking for, but it is possible that it could develop it still, given the amount of instability in the atmosphere. Also watching the Steelville cell down here, our little hailer, who may still become tornadic if it continues to develop over the next hour. And timing this out for what is now hitting St. Clair and Union in about 5 minutes, and 30 minutes it'll be hitting Augusta. Again, 5-10 minutes. Union, it should be hitting Villa Ridge, Gray Summit probably in the next 20 or so minutes. As for the St. James cell, it looks like you're going to be heading, I'd say an hour for St. Clair. An hour would probably be a solid guess for this. Let's see. Radar indicated rotation of golf ball sized hail. As far as 45 minutes. All right. You can, well, let's see. There isn't so much a great shape on it right now. You can definitely still see that there is a little bit of an area of just a little bit of a dip off to the south, but it looks like the structure of it is not maintained very well. However, there's still a decently strong rotation couplet within the cell. Actually, watching that RFD back there, it looks pretty good for feeling that. But we're watching this cell in particular as it moves into the Franklin County area. Looks like we just had a hail report from, this is going to be 8 or so miles west of St. Clair on the cell. Pea-sized hail, so nothing big, but it does look like it's starting to do some small hail. This new run, let's check real quick. Nothing really rotation-wise. All right. It's just this cell we're going to have to watch. And it looks like it'll continue to develop and go off to the northeast. We'll see if she recycles. It looks like she's dying down for a second, but if she recycles, we're really going to have to watch for Sullivan, St. Cloud, Bourbon, and even starting to look towards St. Clair being in the risk of this cell. After that, we're probably going to start looking Gray Summit, Pacific, Eureka for the next target zones. Checking in on our cell in Herman, you were a minute outside from just some pretty heavy rain, maybe some very small hail embedded in that. It's going to be passing just barely to your south. New Haven, you got a little bit of rain right now. Berkshire, the same. The area of heaviest rainfall, though, is going to be put right here. It looks like it's going to be moving in the next few minutes. Berkshire, especially, is going to be the target for this. Half-inch hail there. Ping pong ball size hail on that cell. It looks like, for those of you that are in, when we look in Washington County, we're going to be looking, this cell here may potentially start heading in your direction. We have what appears to be a very strong downdraft within the cell, producing some heavy hail, and apparently there is a rotation signature on the cell. Too much noise on the radar to really make it out at this point, but it is possible. Let's see. Radar indicator rotation. So there is nothing, there's not really any concern for the Franklin County area for this cell in particular. It looks like it's going to track well off to our southeast. But if you're in towns like Potosi or DeSoto or Festus or even maybe as far north as Arnold or Hillsborough, you need to start watching these cells pretty closely. Also watching this Steelville cell that is exiting their area. We're going to be watching, yes, there is indeed a rotation couplet developing on this cell. There is indeed rotation within the cell for that storm as well. And it looks like there is continued rotation for this. It's going to be entering Cuba now, actually. This is entering Cuba as we speak. The tornado radar indicated, of course. It doesn't look like it has great signature on it for the time being. However, we'll see if the storm recycles, picks up speed. St. Clair, that body of rain has just moved past you. We've got another few showers, and then the main cell down here near Cuba. We are starting to look for Union, Villa Ridge, Gray Summit. You're going to start getting some scattered showers, maybe a little bit heavier rainfall for Union, possibly Villa Ridge, here in the next probably 10 minutes or so or less. Looking off towards Herman and Berger, we have this new model, this new update, looking at some hail embedded, could be in excess of an inch in size. Herman, we're going to watch this for you as the cell moves probably off to your southeast side, barely nicking you, but still giving you a good bit of hail with it. Looking out towards Jefferson City, though, storm is moving off to the southeast of it. Looks like it could be a little bit of a hail signature on that. See how that develops heading towards Chamois, and possibly as far east as Herman and Lynn. Elsewhere, we have that line segment of storms that we're talking about. Some good severe thunderstorms, and maybe even rotation signature hitting the Silex, Whiteside, Paynesville, and Anada in the next 30 or so minutes. Let's see if we got a rotation signature on it. Yep, we indeed have a rotation signature heading into Silex as we're speaking right now. There is no tornado warning issued, but let's just monitor the situation real quick. All right, it looks like we're getting a new radar data. All right, my throat's starting to run dry talking to all you folks. Let's try it again. There we go. Oh my. So Silex, it looks like you're in a little bit of a hole right now, so that's good. I thought that was a debris ball, but thank God it wasn't. Rotation signature is just barely off to your west. It's going to be moving through you in the next few minutes. Pretty good spike here. I'd say that's our focal point that we're going to have to watch for any activity. Still watching this, just general shape here. Pretty good info notch here to watch as well. So if you're in Silex, you're getting hit right now. White side, it's moving past you. Painesville, Anata, you're in the path for that cell. Checking on Herman. Herman is getting some small hail right now. If any of you are in Huron or in Herman, please say your bit. If you have any hail or so and you're watching right now, please leave that in the comment because it looks like y'all are getting a pretty good storm right now. Very localized, but potentially strong. Let's see if you guys are getting any winds out there. Some gusts in there could be close to 55 miles per hour, I'd say. Maybe pushing 58 or so in some instances, but it looks like all the heavier winds off to the west, if that's the case. Union actually looks like you got some better gusts there. Let's check out your storm. Yes, I think there are some damaging wind gusts starting to become a potential to the west of the Union, this area in particular. It looks like we're also watching the storm down here still. All right. Let's check in and see how it's doing. So the storm looks like it is indeed recycling. It is moving parallel to Interstate 44 off in sort of a northeasterly motion. Very, very strong rotation signature. Watching this area in particular here. Okay, there's definitely some heavy rain, hail. If there is a tornado on this cell, it's kind of hard to tell because of all the noise, but if there's a tornado on the ground within this cell, it is likely rain wrapped by some hail and heavy rain. This is developing into a more dangerous situation as we look off towards Bourbon, St. Cloud, West Sullivan, and Sullivan. This storm is going to be impacting you in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Sullivan, if we have any viewers in Sullivan, y'all should probably start thinking about heading towards shelter. This is developing into what could be a dangerous situation for y'all if it continues to develop. Also noting that there is some heavy hail possible with this cell, especially in this area here. All right, Union, let's see what we have with you. No rotation signature on you, but there is still look like there is some wind off to your northwestern portion of the storm. All right, so for those of you that are just joining, we're starting to put an emphasis on watching this cluster of cells as it moves through our area. New Haven, you are in the clear for storms right now. You have gotten your storms, I think. It doesn't look like there's anything else that's going to be coming towards you, unless, well, actually, hold on. We have a few cells starting to develop down towards Lebanon once again. Let's see how these are developing. Yes, these are cells that are just starting to develop. They're itty bitty cells off towards where the front is. I don't know if they'll develop into anything, but we can start watching those as they move towards the area as well. All right, so we have a tornado warning issued for Whiteside, Eola, Painesville, Anata, Ellsbury, and Hamburg, heading off towards the Mississippi River. This is for, I don't want that. I want tornado warning. Radar indicate rotation and quarter-sized hail. We are watching this. If you're heading along outside of O'Fallon, if you're heading north on any of these roads. Just know you're going to encounter some pretty heavy rainfall, some large hail possible, and then also that tornado risk. It does appear that we have what could be a rotation is a very light area of rotation, if it is at all, heading just to the south of Herman. Let's see. It doesn't look like there's really any rotation occurring with this cell at all. Um, what is ironic is moisture from the cell that went through Herman roughly an hour ago. It fed the storm that was tornado. Sorry, it fed the storm that went tornadic off towards uh, Whiteside. All right, Gray Summit, you're starting to get some rain. Villa Ridge as well. Union, just some heavy rain. It looks like we have some a little bit of just some light debris being blown around, just lawn furniture and a few small cluttering things like that. Washington, you may get a little bit of a brief, mediocre, heavy rain here in the next few minutes. It's probably going to be more focused to your southeast. However, it's still definitely something to watch. Um, Regarding the, well, now it's heading towards Bourbon. Let's see. Let's check in on the cell real quick. It does look like the rotation signature is beginning to weaken just a little bit. We'll see if it recycles once again because it's recycled just a little bit once. We'll see if it continues to cycle over the next hour or so. Looking at a path for the cell, we're going to look probably St. Clair, Eureka, Pacific possibly, and then actually heading off towards Metro St. Louis. Let's see how this cell has matured over the past hour. All right, so the cell indeed does look like it may recycle. Um, I am going to take a 5 minute break and we'll see how this looks when I come back, folks. Alrighty, folks, we're back. So we have tornado warning on the south cell now. Radar indicated rotation, and then for this cell, we're continuing to have that in place. All right, let's check signatures. Looks like we have a little bit of renewed intensification. Just this entire area really is what we're watching, and then off to the south. Actually, the southern cell looks like it's falling apart pretty much. I'm not going to regard that as a threat right now unless it recycles. If it decides to recycle, I would say Hillsboro and off towards the Mississippi River, Interstate 55. You all are going to have to start watching that. That's if it recycles. Yeah, not much signature there on this cell. This cell, though, it does look like we're starting to have a little bit of a hook begin to redevelop. This is heading through West Sullivan and St. Cloud right now. Sullivan, you're getting a little bit of hail. I actually had a report of half-inch hail. Let's see. Gray Summit, you just had an area of showers move through. There was a little bit of wind with that as well. Looks like we have some just scattered showers between Washington and Villa Ridge that'll be moving through. Nothing severe on those. Herman, you were almost in the clear for storms. Looks like you just have a little bit of showers remaining. Had a little bit of hail move through. That cell is moving off to the northeast towards Troy and Warrenton. If you're in Warrenton right now, you're still getting some pretty good rain. Looking, let's see. Looking off to our south, we have this cell down here. Looks like we have a cell developing near Richland and Crocker. If this cell continues to grow and develop, we may have to watch this as another, probably our last supercell threat of the evening for our area. And this is still well outside of our area. We're 60 or so miles out. So that's just going to be looking pretty far ahead. Not too concerned of it at the moment. Let's pick up looking. And we just had an extension of that tornado warning. It looks like it is tracking south. I'd say St. Clair, you're probably going to be on the north side of the cell, so I wouldn't worry too much about you. But if you are in Sullivan right now, you're getting hit. Um, it doesn't look like it has a whole lot of structure on it, but there is indeed a rotation signature, so nonetheless, it is indeed a threat. It looks like it's not the tightest couplet. It's rather broad right now, so it's probably still recycling just a little bit. Uh, but it does look like we could have this threat continue going off towards Cedar Hill Lake, Cedar Hill, Scottsdale, Burns Mill. I think that's going to be where we'll start to see a little more. Also have half-inch hail, dime-sized hail reported in West Sullivan. All right. So what we're looking at right now, we have 3 active tornado warnings for the Washington County, Crawford County, and Franklin County area. Cells are centered off to the south, really focusing on what is going through Sullivan right now as the main threat for any tornado to develop. It does not appear that the signature is overly powerful, but there is still a threat that we could have a weak tornado develop from this. It's not the most prominent, however, it's still a risk nonetheless. Right now, the front appears to be situated dry line, moving through the area here. That is roughly where the front is situated. It does look like there was a good bit of winds off to our southwest, Springfield, Muskogee, Fort Smith, maybe over in Tulsa as well. Great Summit, Villa Ridge, you just have some showers around the area at the moment. You'll continue to have some showery weather as you're on the north side of these stronger storms. It looks like the tornadic storms will take a southerly path on the south side of Interstate 44. I'd say Washington, unless this cell down here continues to grow, become stronger. I'd say you're looking pretty good for the rest of the evening. So you dodged pretty much all of the storms. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. I also want to point out real quick that when these storms move out of the area, it will probably be the end of our threat for the entire night. So once we have, I'd say, this last cell down here move out, if it continues to maintain some strength, once it moves out of the area, we should be looking pretty good for storms out of the area. But then we'll also have to start looking next Tuesday, and probably Tuesday night, for some additional strong, severe thunderstorms that could become possible. Um, right now, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a 30% chance of those storms developing, so we're going to have to watch that pretty closely as well. And if the situation deems right, we'll go live once again. All right. So right now, it looks like the majority of the threat for the area is off to the south still. St. Clair, you may get some heavier rain, possibly a few pieces of small hail off the north side. But if you are in Sullivan, you are in the clear for this event. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. This town here is definitely in threat right now. Like, if you're in this town, you need to take shelter. It's definitely a possibility there's a weak tornado on the ground. Um, Good news is, though, based on what I'm seeing, the rotation signature is definitely weakening. In fact, the signature for this cell down here is non-existent. It looks like this cell is weakening, so that is very good. Got some cells off to the south, with which really what's pushing this line of just supercells here. Pushing this line is a shortwave trough that's ejecting eastward. That's going to be pushing these storms out of the area, and the main front is actually back here, and that is also pushing these storms this way. I don't think these storms in this area here are going to become severe. I think we're really just going to be focusing on this first line of storms. And let's look here. Yeah, look. I mean, this cell down here, it doesn't look very strong. I don't think there's much of a risk of it becoming severe. So once these storms move across the Mississippi River, probably going to end the stream unless something changes very rapidly. Iowa is getting slammed as it crosses the Mississippi River, heading toward Davenport. Multiple strong and severe thunderstorms for that area. Send our prayers out to those people who are being affected by tornadoes right now, and we pray for their safety as well. Also, in Illinois, Springfield, you have a few storms heading towards you. Few tornado warnings out there. And then for our areas where we're as well, where we're still seeing some strong thunderstorms moving through, as well as let's see, is this Memphis? Off to the north of Memphis, we have a very interesting supercell. Oh, program just collapsed. There we go. We have a very strong supercell moving off to the north of Memphis. This is all right. This looks to be a pretty good storm. Let's look at the rotation. Yes, very strong rotation signature there. Do we have debris? It does not appear that we have debris with this cell. All right. course, there is a confirmed damaging tornado based on what they're saying here. I'm not seeing that currently on radar, but if somebody's actually watching that on the ground, do feel free to contradict me. So that's Memphis, folks. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We're just looking around the area right now. We're having a little bit of fun. Very weak signature. Let's actually look on the radar that's closer. Yeah, it's not the strongest signature. It's not bad, but it's definitely not very strong. Bring back home. Um, yeah, our cell here, south of St. Clair Parkway. It looks like it's pretty weak at this point. It's lost a lot of its steam. I'd say this is going to continue as a possible small hail risk, maybe a few wind gusts from this as well. Um, I'd say the tornado threat for that is pretty much diminished. We are looking. Sullivan is definitely in the clear at this point. Villa Ridge, you just have some scattered showers. Union, scattered showers. Gray Summit, you have a area of scattered showers moving into your area. Everything light, no hail expected with those. At this point, we're just watching for the cell to exit south of Interstate 44. May have to start watching towards Eureka, Burns Mill, High Ridge, and Murphy, maybe even Scottsdale for this cell in particular. Cedar Hill Lakes, you're looking at just some weak showers moving into the area, maybe a little bit of heavier rain on the backside, but nothing too serious with that. Just watching this cell down towards St. Clair right now. Which St. Clair, you are on the north side of the cell. You're probably just going to get some um, light rain with intermittent heavy rain as you move to the south side of the event. Other than that, it looks like most of the storms are exiting the area. Maybe a few cells down near Steelville that could bring some moderately heavy showers, and then off towards Dixon and Bell, looks like we have a few more cells that move into the area. Those will probably be targeting the New Haven and Herman area, maybe as far east as Washington. All right, so it does sound like we have Isabella. It looks like a hail cracked your sister's phone screen earlier. Oh, is she out there recording it? Uh, does look like overall these cells are starting to weaken tornado wise. So that's a very good situation. Took off the tornado warning for that cell. I think what we're just going to see is these cells ejecting eastward. I don't think these cells will become severe. There is a small probability at this point, but I think those chances are pretty low at the moment. Alrighty, so off to the north we have this cell injecting out into Illinois, out of our area of concern. For anybody who's on the backside of the cell, you may still have some moderately heavy rainfall that'll move into your area. Maybe a few pieces of small hail on the leading edge. Ooh, a little bit of backside spin, anticyclonic rotation on this cell south of St. Clair. See how the signature is looking on this cell. Yeah, it looks like it's shifting to more of a wind and hail event with this cell. Maybe some stronger winds on the south side of it. But I think they may cancel this tornado warning here in just a second. Looks like the threat's pretty much diminished. Herman, you have a cell off to your north, just barely passing by McKittrick. Not worried about that cell at all. Maybe a few gusty winds from it, maybe a few very small pieces of hail, but I do think y'all are good. Yep, you're all good. Severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Potosi. For this cell here, looks like a pretty good hailer. Let's see what the National Weather Service is calling for. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. All right. Potosi, you're probably going to be off to the southern side, southeastern side of the storm, so you should all be fine. But moving northeastward, Hillsboro, you may be in the path if this storm continues to maintain strength, and then off towards Arnold, Imperial, Barnard. Uh, you're all in that next path. Bell, Vienna, Dixon, looks like your cells out there are just going to be um, light rain with some heavier rain showers in there as well. Doesn't look like anything too concerning at the time, but still watch it just in case something develops. I'd say that'll be in Herman, New Haven, maybe as far as Washington, Berger, uh, probably in the next half hour or so, if I have to guess right. All right, so St. Clair, you are in the clear for this tornadic cell. It has moved out of your area. Let's go ahead and look at velocity. Maybe a light signature down there, but I don't think it's really going to amount to much. Yeah, there's no structure on it to support it really. It looks like he'll just be ejecting off towards St. Louis Metro out of our area of concern. If you're in Eureka, sorry, you're starting to see some scattered showers moving into the area, just light rain at the time being. You'll eventually have what could be possible areas of some small hail and heavier rain moving into your area, possibly some gusty winds here in about 10 to 15 minutes, I'd say. Pacific, you're probably going to be off to the north side of the main part of the cell. You could still experience some moderately heavy rainfall, though. Nothing severe I'm anticipating for Pacific. Ooh, I will say this one thing for though. The Toshi cell looks pretty strong. I will say that. It is definitely a good sized hailer. It just had it down for quarter sized hail. It's very odd. Yeah, 2-inch hail actually uh, 2.25-inch hail, so close to baseball-sized hail, uh, is what radar is indicating with this cell. Let's look. Very strong updraft on that. Strong updraft on this as well. Cell down near Cuba, just some light rain, maybe a little bit of moderately heavier rainfall. No hail expected with that. And then we have our cells off towards Bell, Bland, Freiburg, Vienna. Again, ejecting off towards Herman and New Haven, probably. Not expecting these to become severe. Poorly organized and not a whole lot to fire on the backside of them. Couple tornado warnings still continuing down. Severe thunderstorm warnings towards Arkansas. I'd say the southern side of the event was not very active. Obviously, we had Little Rock, but I didn't see anything big for Arkansas and Tennessee aside from that. So activity was definitely a more bimodal experience off towards Davenport, uh, Cedar Rapids, just eastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, and then northeast Missouri. This was a very focused event up towards there. Still ongoing. If you're in Springfield, you have some storms heading towards you. Tornadoes are possible with those, so watch out for those if you're up towards there. We still have our lonesome cell. Looks like it's actually starting to recycle a little bit. You can see here has a little bit of that V shape retained, and it's starting to get a little bit of a curve there where we might just have a little bit of an inflow notch flowing in there. Look at, yeah, looks like there is an area of rotation beginning to recycle with this cell. Okay, so this is something we're going to have to watch for Cedar Hill Lakes and Cedar Hill, Scottsdale, Burned Mill, Shady Valley. You are all going to be in this general cone here for this rotation track. This is going to be heading off towards Parkdale in the long term. Murphy, Fenton is in this risk. All right, so we just got updated run. Yes, it's a loose couplet, but it's still a couplet nonetheless. Let's have a look. Reflectivity. Not very much structure supporting it, but it is still uh, a structure for a storm nonetheless. Have ourselves off towards Vienna, Freiburg, Bell, and Bland. Just some light rainfall. Jonesburg, you're looking at a little bit of heavier rainfall. Maybe some embedded small hail off to your northeast. That's going to be going northeastward towards Hawks Point and Troy eventually. Aylesbury, Foley, Hamburg, you're looking like the storm is moving through you. Heavier rainfall with some scattered small hail embedded there. Some scattered showers continuing south of the St. Louis Metro, southwest of St. Louis Metro, Valley Park, Fenton, Murphy, High Ridge, Eureka, maybe a little bit. Have some lighter showers there. Pacific, light showers for you as well. And it really looks like the cell in southeastern Franklin County is beginning to recycle again. Not a great rotation signature on it right now, but we can definitely see that curve on it where we do look like it is possible we have an inflow notch right there. A very weak one, but nonetheless, it's still there. What do we have here? Just some winds. All right. Weak cell heading off to the south of Shady Valley towards Arnold. You're in Arnold right now. Just some light showers moving through your area. Watching this cell down to the north of Potosi, looks like we've got some radar indicated hail. All right. Nothing confirmed on it quite yet. Looks like it's weakening quite a bit as well. Just an update on the positioning of the front. Looks like it's positioned kind of like that almost. If not, looking more, there we go, like that. moving into our area, I'd say if you're in Jefferson City for this event, you're completely in the clear. Columbia, I'd say you're in the clear. Maybe a few areas of some light showers or drizzle, but your severe threat is over. I'd say for Owensville, Bland, New Haven, maybe Gerald. I think you're off a little too far to the east. Herman still have that moderately heavy rainfall possible with this cell. If you're in St. Roberts, St. James, you're likely in the clear for this event. Bourbon, you have a small cell moving through you right now. Just a little bit of a quick downpour and then out of the area for you. Focus on the Cedar Hill and Cedar Hill Lakes cell real quick. We are looking at what appears to be a hook echo, but there's not really a whole lot of rotation to support that. We couple it here possibly, but I'm not thinking too much in the way of support for that. We have that continuing to move through the area though, and we'll continue to monitor that as it moves towards the St. Louis Metro. Looks like there was, let's see, about 20 minutes ago, displacement of some yard objects, sorry. Yeah, it really looks like we're starting to wind down the event. Let's look down here towards Potosi. It looks like we may have a little bit of a notch there, kind of folding in there. Let's look and see. There is no rotation signature on that. Just a weirdly shaped storm. All right. And it looks like the National Weather Service will let this warning expire without adding on to it. It looks like, yeah, there's not really any rotation on the storm right now to support a continuation. Maybe some stronger wind gusts on the front side of it. Cedar Hill Lakes, you may be getting 50 or 55-mile-per-hour gusts. But other than that, not much in association with the storm. Few isolated cells beginning to pop up in the southwest where the front is pushing them out. These will probably just remain smaller areas of condensed showers, nothing too worrisome. No severe anticipated with those. I think our severe threat is gone with these lines of storms here. Um, does look like there is a continuation for that moderately heavy rainfall just to the northwest of Owensville, making its way towards New Haven and Berkshire. Herman, you'll probably be on the north side of this event. So, say, folks, that's pretty much the end of this event. Uh, Sadly, I'd call this one a bust for severe storms. We had those warnings, but we didn't really see a whole lot develop in our area in particular. But that's a good thing because we don't have to deal with damage or the potential heartbreak from some of those storms moving to the area and causing extensive damage. So we're fortunate in that way that these storms did not become uh, overly severe or cause any damage that's too extensive, except for Isabella's phone. Yep, and there goes the tornado warning. It is gone. Just checking in on it. Looks like it's pretty much dead, yeah. Alright, with that said, I think given our kind of end for the event, I think we're going to wrap up the stream. We've been going for 2 hours now, so thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you like this, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more of this. We will have another event where we could potentially go live on Tuesday next week, depending on the timing of these storms. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a 30% chance for severe thunderstorms to develop sometime Tuesday afternoon, evening, or overnight. Timing is not exactly certain quite yet. So I will keep you guys updated on that going into that event over the next few days. And once we get closer to that, we'll make a plan of action on how to prepare for that. Um, Other than that, I think our storm is pretty much done for today. Um, we're all very fortunate that we didn't have those storms develop uh, severe qualities and cause extensive damage anywhere. So we're thankful for that. Um, so yeah, if you want to see more of this, like button, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next live stream. Thank you so much, and have a great day.